Hello guys, and here we go. We have another Inkwell note. So I actually read this when it well, I don't know, when did it come out? Yesterday? I don't know if I read it when it first came out, word for word on stream yesterday, but uh, yeah, yesterday I read it word for word on stream, and you know what? I was gonna kind of make a video on that, but I don't know. There's a whole lot of kind of nothing in this Inkwell note. There's a lot of, just kind of jimble jamble. But people are saying it's the worst Inkwell note of all time. So I don't know. I'll try to summarize it the best I can. Let's check it out. All right. So he's introducing himself here. And he's talking about how players supported the winter updates. Yada, yada, yada. And then he goes into reviewing the past year. And he goes in and talks about how he created Team GMS in 2024, and 2025 was focused on building the team up. And they're trying to strengthen their capabilities and yada, yada, yada. And he is explaining that in that process, there were a lot of emergency maintenance and disruptions and a lot of bad things kind of happening because, the team was new. And then he goes on and says with the merge, there was a lot of technical reviewing and a lot of resources and stuff that it takes to make this happen. And there wasn't any major issues, and it did end on schedule. Right? So, and he says that his objective was to make the game update for the November update more stable, which, yeah, fair credit. It was definitely better than the summer update. Right? And then he just basically goes on and talks about, the winter update, the quality of life, etc., etc. So, yeah. And he talks about, they're trying to continue their improvements. And now he goes and talks about the public test server. And about the public test server, he wants the first operation to be within the second quarter of 2026, so second quarter of this year. Planning to run it mainly focused on major updates that need early testing. So I'm guessing the winter and summer updates, maybe not the updates in between. I'm assuming something like that. And then he says on a separate post, he'll give information on how to participate. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then he talks about efforts to create a fair gaming environment. And he talks about how the player numbers have been on the rise since the Go West update. And I speculate that part of the rise is due to, yes, the Go West update, but also, I haven't been playing GMS much, but when I was playing it the past, couple of months, the botting and cheating and servicing has kind of gotten out of hand. And he kind of mentions it in the next sentence here. With the expansion of the service scale, there have also been some abnormal gameplay activities, etc., that violated the terms of service. And then he goes on and talks about how you're implementing the lie detector system, and it basically gives you some type of thing you have to solve to prove you're not autoing or botting or whatever you might want to call it. Bum bum bum. And he's saying you might not feel a big difference because I'm guessing that in theory the lie detector shouldn't detect you if you're playing legitimately. I'm assuming that's what he's going on with this. Most of you might not feel a big difference in your everyday play. So I wonder how well it's actually working, because they do post every week that a lot of accounts get banned, but I don't know. I just feel like it's gotten really out of hand in the past couple of months. So I really would like to see how it was like in the days of 2020 and 2021, where there really wasn't any kind of botters really going around and cheaters and stuff. But as time progresses, the tools progress and the strategies change for cheating and all that stuff. So will they ever really fully solve this? I think it's kind of impossible unless they really strict down on account creation, which that's not good for anybody, really, to be honest. Okay, and then he's talking about gameplay experience. I believe that improving gameplay experience of existing content is just as important as creating new content. Okay, so he goes on in this paragraph. There was a recent case where changes to some content features were unintentionally impacted the acquisition of certain items. He's mostly talking about, say, like when the drop rate in Heroic World for the Arcane and Abso boxes. I can't remember if it was both the boxes or if it was just Arcane, but the Arcane and Abso boxes from boss drops, the drop rate was lower. And I didn't even realize this until I checked the website this morning. I didn't realize they even had this Maple memo on January 27th, where they're saying the Star Spec boxes. Because I remember a lot of people saying that they nerfed the drop rates of Star Spec boxes. And I haven't really been farming much, so I didn't really notice it myself when I was playing. I guess since this became an issue, and lo and behold, another unintentional drop rate change that went through. So during the version 2065 update, an error occurred that caused Star Spec box acquisition behavior to differ from its intended 264 state. Sincerely apologize that we're not able to promptly identify and communicate this issue for any inconvenience it may cause during your gameplay. This issue was resolved in V266 and scheduled for February 4th. We prepared the following compensation as apology to those who experienced difficulty obtaining Star Spec boxes. So you're getting 15 boxes and 10 Shining Star Specs. And these boxes are normally like tradable and permanent in Interactive World, but they expire in 20 days. Seems like. Or I guess they just expire February 24th no matter when you claim it between this time period. Wow. Interesting. And I mean, this is not bad. This is basically like 1/5 of you need like 50 of those to restore a pitch boss item, essentially. I mean, it's like 1/5. But man, that's crazy. What are they doing? How do they nerf 2 things accidentally? It's crazy, man. That's crazy. Some game systems have multiple contents linked with each other. In some cases require not just simple numerical changes, but also accumulation of sufficient play data to make proper judgment. Because of this, the analysis and review process requires careful attention and, depending on the situation, can take some time. I don't know how I feel about this, because like it feels like they nerf things based off like, hey, maybe the box rate was too high, and then they don't communicate that, and then it just gets nerfed, and then people are like, what the hell is going on? And then they're like, oh, whoa, never mind, unnerf it. And now the Star Force has been a pretty big topic in the community since the 30 Star Force system. I personally, I think with how the 30 Star Force system works and how they implemented it, and yes, they did like add the pity system, and you know, your stars are a little bit better on booms compared to like Korea Maple, but I just don't think it works well with GMS at all, whether you're an interactive player or a heroic player especially. So he's talking about the system itself is working normal, but we are continuously analyzing data, discussing internally regarding the inconveniences and burdens. So people are saying they should host the Shining Star Force event, which is, well, it says right here. As a preliminary method to reduce the burden, we are preparing to increase the frequency of Sunny Sunday event that provides 30% off the miso cost, and 30% reduction item destruction chance when enhancing below 21. So Shining Star Force. But he's saying it's not implementing it until June 17th. It's January 30th. That's like 4.5 months. Like, what are we supposed to do for 4.5 months? Just not Star Force anything? How are you going to have the equip inventory space to save your stuff for 4.5 months? Now, with that being said, there probably will be a Shining Star Force event before then, sometime during the February update or the anniversary update that they do in May. But, like, geez Louise. It's pretty crazy. Like, they just take too long to communicate. They take too long to make like reasonable actions. Like with the Shining Star Force, like, and how Star Forcing is, I straight up think we should have the 30% reduced item destruction chance permanently, because it's only that makes it the same average number of booms to get to 22. Without that, you know, you're booming stuff more than you would previously with the previous Star Force event to get to 22. It's really lame. And then he's talking about on-site events, you know, like the the MapleCon and all that stuff. And I don't know what he's thinking here. The explanation for the background of Athenia Saga was an important opportunity that allowed us to directly share to Maplers the context that were hard to convey in-game and the in-game monster Tweentina that was designed at the venue has widely beloved after being implemented in the game. I hope they really mean Tweentina, because Tweentina was a good event. It really was. But the Athenia Saga is referring to Ride or Die. And I like how he doesn't specifically say that. He says the Athenia Saga. He doesn't say Ride or Die. Because I remember watching that live stream, and when Ride or Die was announced in that live stream, I swear everybody in the Twitch chat room that was watching that stream along with me was saying how they hate that event. So I just think it's kind of funny how he says widely beloved. Now, I don't know if he's necessarily referring to Ride or Die or just Tweentina here, but man, people do not like Ride or Die. People want that event to die. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, much feedback how various improvements were needed for our on-site operations. Yeah, so like MapleCon, a lot of people had issues with that. I remember people saying like the lines were long, you weren't actually getting what you paid for with a VIP, and then they like sold stuff on their website that you're supposed to get if you're a VIP, if I remember correctly. It was something pretty crazy. So yeah. And then they talk about MapleStory Classic World. So the main thing to take away from this is he's talking about the one he did at MapleCon, and he's talking about the one that they did recently at the cafe here. And now they're talking about the online test, so you don't have to travel to California for the online test. And it's going to be closed, invite only, prioritizing the people who attended MapleCon. And the test schedule is going to be for around 2 weeks, early April this year, 5,000 selected people. And again, priority invitation will be given to the attendees of MapleCon and the PC Cafe testers, and afterwards additional applicants will be accepted online. So I don't know how many people that attended MapleCon, attended the PC Cafes will eat into this 5,000 total, because some of them might not accept it, some of them will accept it. I don't know how many people exactly attended, but hopefully, you know, I don't know if they'll accept me, but hopefully they accept me, because I'm all about classic these days. I like me some old school games. Don't get it twisted, you know I'm still on OSRS. Alright, let's see here. And he's talking about, you know, the online test bill will affect the feedback that Maple has shared in the MapleCon demo and the on-site test, referring to the cafe test. So this will have some changes and adjustments applied to it. It's being prepared as a test to check the play experiences and gather opinions centered on the main features and limited content rather than being final release version. So what people have gathered from those other events might now, be changed. It might be changed for the better. It might be changed for the worse. We'll see. And then he talks about the official launch date, and he doesn't really have one. He wants it to be really refined and reviewed, and then not really rushed for a specific deadline. And he says he will share more detailed update on the features, schedule, and direction. So hopefully, I guess by summer, he'll tell us when the release date is, or have an idea on when it can be released, on what they want to do before then. I don't know. So no release date yet, but online playtest, closed playtest for 5,000 people, 2 weeks, April. And the things being prepared. Talking about, Mac OS support. And then he talks about multiple language support, Espanol being the first one. So, and he also saying that eventually they want other languages to kind of make Maple Global more global, I suppose. So there's that. And then he talks about SIA and the Shine classes. He talks about the Ascend skills coming out for Kana, Hayato, Lin, Mo, Xuan, SIA in the February 4th update, which is right here, this update preview. So, yeah, Ascends for the Kana, Ascend for the Hayato. Very cool. And then talking about the Uriel, E-R-E-L, I don't know how to say it, Uriel class, another Shine class, right here, and they're gonna share the second mastery node. I didn't see this before. The second mastery node for SIA and quality of life improvements and refine the early story will be in March. Continue to improve the job going forward. In addition to SIA, we are also preparing the Shine class, which will provide a new common experience. So Uriel is basically confirmed. We don't know necessarily when. I'm assuming maybe on the March update, maybe they'll say something. And they're talking about external collabs. It's either going to be the One Punch Man that KMS got, or the Furin, I don't know how to say it, that JMS got. And that's basically they want to prepare collabs, etc. And then that's basically it. And then of course, it wouldn't be an equal note if you didn't give some free stuff. So you got 2 Mac pots, 500 arcane symbols or 200 sacred, 3 Solar Urta fragment coupons, 300 Solar Urta fragments, 20 XP notes, 30 familiar cards, Mystic familiar cards, 10 VIP boosters, 500 XP vouchers, and part-time job mushroom outfit. They're trying to say I'm working at McDonald's here. What the hell is this? Also, I think somebody showed me in game that you don't actually get these booties when you wear it. I think it's glitched. Somebody showed me a picture of it yesterday. And that's pretty much it. I don't know. What do you guys think of this Inkwell note? I think it's a little bit lackluster. They didn't really touch on any current issues for GMS. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to Classic myself. It is nice to know that we finally get a time period when the online closed beta will happen. So that's cool. But as far as like for GMS specifically, what about Universal Cash Up? What about, the Miso Radon Interactive World being almost, like, it's at an all-time low in many, many, many years. Like, this is like 7 years ago it was, around this rate or something, like, really bad. So, I don't know. What do you guys think of this? I think it's definitely a 1 out of 10. 6 out of 7 as you will. That's it for me. Bye-bye. Bam!